Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to the USA Explained from Geopold. This channel is usually a sort of a humorous look into countries or cities or whatever it is, and I mean I've reacted to him doing funny videos on the UK and how the UK is falling apart, the USA versus the UK, and now this is the USA Explained. And I mean, I'm assuming this will be just poking fun at the US. I mean, this is one of those channels that you see how like on the internet you have Americans and Brits poking fun at each other in ways of like taking the piss out of each other. Or you have no teeth to the Brits, your dentistry is terrible, or the Brits are like, oh, you have no healthcare, or your healthcare costs millions, or whatever. Stupid things. And this channel is sort of just, the videos are like that. So if you're gonna get triggered, maybe don't watch this reaction. If you're here for a bit of fun, and maybe it'll be a bit more serious, I'm not too sure. I guess enjoy this reaction. I'm hot, man. This is a long video and I'm hot, man. The UK is finally getting hot. It's like 24 degrees, I think, right now. It says 27 here, but for some reason, it's set in Venice. Oh, here we go. Norwich. Does it want to change? No, it doesn't want to change. So it says 27, but it's like 23, 24 degrees, and it's going to get hot the next few days. So I'm struggling. This is the days I would love AC, but hey, you can't have it all. But let's check this out. Hopefully going to enjoy. Links are in the description to my Patreon, where you can see reactions that I can't post to YouTube, movies, TV series, music reactions, YouTube videos that I can't post to YouTube for copyright reasons, and yeah, all that sort of stuff. Links are there for that. But let's check this out.
Land of freedom, fast food, highways, oil, eagles, and you know those fun, wholesome, harmless steel devices. Obviously I'm talking about cars, which you can use to travel from one state to another, of which there are 50 spanning 6 time zones, 4 million miles of road, and 200,000 fast food restaurants. Well, today we're going to be going through those states one by one and ranking them all on this beautiful tier list. Little disclaimer, this video is going to be in 2 parts because I want to make sure I actually talk about every state and not rush any essential analysis, maybe with the exception of South Dakota. Yeah, anyway, the one unified video would just be far too long for some of you guys' attention spans. I would have to start incorporating some Subway Surfers gameplay. You get the idea. Our first state up is Florida, the ancestral land.
Florida's got to be top tier, I'm sorry.
Lands of the world famous Florida man, the shining beacon of freedom, the mecca for redneck hillbillies and Disney adults alike. Hear me out right, these guys have to get an honor.
So you're just throwing like a kitchen towel on an alligator.
The shining beacon of freedom, the mecca for redneck hillbillies and Disney adults alike. Hear me out right, these guys have to get an honorary S. Out of respect, because this state is truly the pinnacle of America. Everything they stand for, everything they fantasize about. Other states could only dream about the simply humongous amount of soulless corporate slop malls, the most gigantic, colossal, nauseating suburbs this world has ever seen. The sheer lack of...
Is this legit, bro? I mean, it's weird because this almost looks too perfect to be to be true. This can't be real. This looks like it's like been made in Dubai. I think this is taking the piss a bit, but this looks nice and freaky at the same time. It's weird, right? Because it does look nice, like you got all this stuff, but it is very creepy.
Ever seen. The sheer lack of any minorly usable public transport. The fucking highway systems. Oh my god, it's enough to make President Truman ascend into the clouds. Just look at this shit. That's a 2-hour drive, bro.
Nah, bro, you gotta respect Key West. For me, one of the coolest things.
Florida. That's right, we only use boats to suspiciously traffic that one specific sugary, energizing, addicting substance into Miami. Hell yeah, I'm talking about Coca-Cola. Obviously, I'm talking about Coca-Cola. I mean, almost 70% of Florida residents drink Coca-Cola daily. What the Nah, these guys have to get an S. It's unnegotiable. Next up, Georgia. Man, what can I say? King Carly, UFC.
My mum's dad, that's my granddad, but I've never met him before. Other than when I was a kid, and I don't remember that. So I'm just going to say my mum's dad because he doesn't care about me. My mum's dad lives in Georgia. So I've got a bit of a relation here. Although I can't actually say I relate at all because I've never spoke to the man. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. But I've got family members there, so that's pretty cool.
The Stalin, Skibbity Toilet. These guys are seriously producing some of the best contributions to our world today. Wait, hold up. Oh, no. Yeah, this state is just mid, honestly. They got one of the world's worst managed urban sprawls. But I'm gonna bump them up because of this sheer megalith of music to come out of this state.
Yeah.
Anyone from Ray Charles to Gucci Mane, I'm almost certain your favorite music legitimately wouldn't exist without the influence of this one ugly.
Especially like current, I mean, I know historically it's been important, but current day, mate, Atlanta's like the hotspot for so much music.
The American city. Also, peaches. You know a state's gonna be amazing when their entire pride is based around one fruit that they're okay at growing.
Babe, how that peach cobbler tasting?
It's alright. I had better at the school cafeteria.
They can get a medium C out of respect. South Carolina is just like Georgia, but without any of the redeeming qualities that Georgia has. Their biggest city has 150.
No. I'm not having any Charleston disrespect, man. The video that I reacted to Charleston and seeing it, that city is top 5 cities in the US. No conversation after that. I'm not talking about anyone else now. That city is unreal. Like, historically speaking, some of the most beautiful scenery and buildings possible.
3,000 people? Oh, hell nah, bro. What I was trying to find a reason not to put you guys in D. So I looked up things South Carolina's known for. Comes up with the city of Columbia. You guys find me one person who hears the word Columbia and thinks of South Carolina. Bro, Columbia, British Columbia, Columbus, Christopher Columbus, District of Columbia, the fucking Coke brand. Ain't no one thinking about South Carolina, bro. Sorry to break it to you. I really got no reason to put South Carolina any higher than E. Sorry, guys.
Nah, if it was me, I'm putting them at least B. He's speaking for himself, man.
On the other hand, North Carolina. This is the cool sibling. This is the well-fed sibling. This is the only sibling worth giving a fucking visit. And let's be real here. This is the good ending. Anyway, North Carolina. It's in the top 10 states for population. They got a diverse natural landscape and a diverse economy. It birthed the aeroplane, Pepsi, Krispy Kreme, mini golf, Fred Durst, the machine gun. Wow, what a breathtaking fleet of goddamn American innovations, man. I never thought I'd do this.
It's just their grips in the flag. Oh, I love that. That's so funny. I've never seen that before. Wait, I've gone about 10 seconds.
Goddamn American innovations, man. I never thought I'd do this, but I think I'm willing to put one of the Carolinas in A, you know. Now, Virginia. I don't know, man. All that comes to mind is the Appalachian Mountains. So,
I have a feeling they're getting ranked low.
Now, from my understanding, Virginia is split into a few subdivisions. To the west, you got... To the north, you got people that get that DC money, use that DC metro, pay them DC taxes, but also get really, really offended if you refer to them as being from DC, not Northern Virginia. And then you got the southeast, which is just frat bros and sparkly teeth, spray tanned Jersey construction trash. I'm feeling a D. Maryland. I gotta give these guys credit where credit's due.
Oh hell yeah, man, the Maryland biscuits. Although they're not actually from Maryland, are they?
They did name themselves after one of the greatest confectionery
they named themselves, oh fuck's sake,
items ever created. I respect that. Now, this is a pretty small state, so I'm gonna end up basing 100% of my analysis off of Baltimore. And man, what a city. Baltimore, despite being a relatively small, seriously mid city, manages to somehow constantly remain relevant in the world. Be that through violent fatal bridge collapses or famous TV shows, or that fucking accent, bruh. Plus, I gotta give them some points for being one of the few American states with a half decent flag.
Oh hell yeah. Where's my... I always have my keyring somewhere. Where is it now? My Baltimore keyring. Is it here? Where is it gone? I think I've lost it. Lost it in my apartment. Or in my office. Where's my Baltimore keyring gone? Damn, I can't find it. I have to find it every time I see it pop up, but just know I've got a Baltimore keyring that was sent to me. And the flag is cool as hell.
That being said, I think you guys are being hella greedy, right? Give this bit of land to West Virginia, man. God knows they need it. For now, I'm gonna give them an E, but you know, I might bump it up depending on how many angry Baltimoreans I get in the comments. Now, Delaware. Hey, I got nothing bad to say about Delaware, yo. Please, someone hook me up with that Delaware tax status, man. Yo, I'ma represent you guys. I just want that. Now, really though, the only thing Delaware has going for it is its tax status and its OG status. And I mean real OG status. For my Brits, imagine the Guernsey of America. For my Europeans, imagine the Monaco of America. You get the deal. There's a lot of Delawareans with this fit and this type of humor. New Jersey.
This looks fucking beautiful. The hell is this? This is fucking Bayonne, New Jersey. It's on the water in Bayonne. Look at this. It's on the water in Bayonne.
Now, yeah, it might be one of the ugliest places on the face of planet Earth. Yes, they might all leech off New York's economy and then beat you to a pulp if you slightly insinuate that they even resemble a New Yorker. But look, man, I watched too much Sopranos to not give Jersey at least a C.
How about that prick's face when he shot a gat?
This show has had so much of an impact on me that I was in Italy calling any cut of meat I saw gabagool. I quite possibly unknowingly created a few lifelong nemesises with that. But whatever, New Jersey's getting a high D or a low C. I don't care. One thing I do care about though is how Italians view me. So I'm not gonna lie, the gabagool situation did embarrass me a little bit. If you want to travel or meet people with interesting...
He's secured the bag. He secured the bag. That's the first time I've seen him as well. Bro, secure the bag. Come on, lad. I love that. Get that
There's an
shmoney.
extra $5 when they make their first purchase of $10 or more. So be quick, sign up now. Pennsylvania. So, Philly is, in my opinion, one of North America's best cities, okay? Surprisingly good city planning, public transport and greenery for an American city. Maybe because it was founded, designed and
This looks very British. I've seen this street before, but this street is very cool.
built by Europeans. Either way, this city is home to Frank, okay? Also, Philly cheesesteak, or also this guy.
What you doing, dickhead? Dickhead? Yeah.
I've seen this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah. Yo!
So look, if we're basing Pennsylvania's rating off Philly alone, we could be looking at S. But unfortunately, I gotta take into account... My theory is, because Pennsylvania is so unnecessarily big, they got 20 million fucking people. Basically, they just exist as their own thing, and therefore develop their own deep south, and it's west of the state, which is fucking off the rails, bro. It's straight up a stronghold of redneckness, a slice of Alabama in the north of the US, where you can find moonshine flowing, guns toting, money owing, corn growing, patriotism showing, truck towing, lawn mowing, dinghy rowing, church going, crop sowing, eagle crowing Americans. A tier. New York. Now, I've already talked about New York too much on this channel, so I won't bang on about it for too long. But importantly, in this state exists the biggest city in America. One of the most powerful, most important mega cities in the world. A magical place where dudes like this and dudes like this can peacefully coexist.
Mate, who is this guy? I keep seeing him on TikTok. He keeps doing some mad stuff on the Underground. I swear I saw him like riding on the back of the Underground train the other day. He wasn't even on like the subway. He was just on the edge of it, just riding it. And then I've seen him like stealing someone's food and then running off. Like, he's just a madman.
Just on the same train home. A beacon of humanity. A role model to every other Western city. The proof.
Now what the hell is wrong with you? No Diddy! What
No
the
Diddy.
hell? You just kissing random people? You ain't paying your fare!
When I walked in that jail for the first time, you know what I smelled? I smelled butt ass. Butt ass. It was so bad. I mean, the funk hit you like, boom.
I knew I wasn't tripping. Why the fuck is it all this bread? Like, I'm trying to call my mom and shit. Like, the fuck is going on?
Hey, yo, pause.
What's your
Hey,
wildest
yo.
subway experience?
I came from, I seen a pigeon get on for one stop and then get off on the next one. Like, you could have flew there, my nigga.
Don't ever feel me. I'm gonna kick the shit.
New York is an easy S tier. It's like Pennsylvania but better. They got everything. Connecticut, my pretty uninformed opinion of this state is that it's basically one big suburb of New York City. Almost 100% residential detached family homes. Yes, they might have some of the most prestigious colleges in the world, but overall, it's generally like under-seasoned New York. It's like Timu, New York. For example, the famous staple pizza in Connecticut is essentially New York style pizza, but without the cheese. Bro, that's like selling me a car with no wheels. That's like a house with no roof. I know you guys are kind of meant to be the cleverest Americans, but yo, taking cheese off pizza is seriously one of the lowest IQ moves a human could make. If this is the kind of thing they're proud of inventing, Connecticut's getting a low score, man. They can get a low C. Right, next up, Rhode Island. Firstly, ain't no fucking reason for this state to exist, bro. Rhode Island is like Delaware if they had tweakers instead of millionaires. It's like Delaware if the Biden family was only Hunter Biden. Rhode Island is really the outcast of New England, the unloved sibling. They got the worst potholes in the country, some of the most potent strain of tweakers in the country, one of the worst reputations in the country. I mean, I know they got Joey, but I think in a good timeline, the only Rhode Island we have on a planet is this one. Sorry guys, you know where you're going. Right, Massachusetts. In my eyes, this is a very decent state. Obviously they got Boston, home to Harvard, kinda. A city where everyone's got a silly accent.
What does it? Cambridge and what's better?
Boston, home to Harvard, kinda.
Cambridge and Boston are the same. Oh, fair.
A city where everyone's got a silly accent. They eat lots of lobster. I've heard people are quite friendly in the same way Northerners in the UK are friendly, which is that they're also very mean, but they're also like friendly. It's hard to explain. Once again,
Very
like
real.
with Philly and New York, Boston was actually built by people that have some regard for cities being pretty and green and efficient and walkable and nice. But for some reason, everyone from other East Coast states seems to fucking hate Boston. I don't know why, but it's like they all for once come together in a unified alliance to just shit on Massachusetts.
Bacon, egg, and cheese in Boston. What the f***? What are we doing here? Hey, look at the egg. A square slice of SpongeBob's ass on an everything bagel with prosthetic bacon is what I'm looking at for fucking $7.50. Fucking $8 for this shit. $8 for this fucking nightmare.
I guess a big negative about this state is the winters, but overall Boston seems kind of like a Leeds or Manchester American equivalent. Pretty decent, but fucking cold. I do, however, have a sweet spot for that northern charm. I think it's the Swedish blood in me. So I'm gonna give you guys a strong B. Alright, now we're on to this top northern corner. And I don't know if this is controversial to say. Can we just consolidate this into one state? In a country where Texas and California exist, there ain't no reason why New Hampshire and Vermont aren't at least smushed together. Anyway, I'm gonna go through these pretty quickly, as the probability that someone from Maine is watching this right now is like 1 in 5,000. However, Maine is definitely the coolest out of these, alright? They got spooky evil creatures and shit. They got serious lobster related economic prosperity. They got a fucking desert. They got hillbillies and
Wait, there's a desert in Maine?
related economic prosperity. They got a fucking desert. They got hillbillies. And most importantly, my Scandinavian ancestors were out there way before. Like 500 years before Columbus. Maine is getting a B. Hey, I like a good freaky evil spot like that, man.
It's a good
Hit
ranking.
me up if you got a ranch in Maine, bro. I need to
Oh,
visit. New
wow.
Hampshire is basically
That's
a more
pretty cool.
boring version of Maine. Less freaky, less lobster. I was really looking for some fun facts or something about this state. I literally couldn't find shit. Please, New Hampshireans, comment if I'm wrong here, but you know a state is bad when you look up its fun facts and the first thing that comes up is that they have around 1,000 lakes. Boy, that ain't shit. Don't come to me, a half British, half Scandinavian man, and brag about your amount of lakes. If you're not Canadian, you are gonna lose that one. Vermont, you know how tiny of a population you gotta have to be under fucking North Dakota? You know how little citizens you gotta have to just minorly beat Wyoming? Oh nah, bro. All I could find about these guys is that they make some pretty mid ice cream and they
Oh, Ben & Jerry's. Oh, that's not mid ice cream, bro. Come on.
Put out an arrest warrant for George Bush because of the Iraq War, which is pretty fucking awesome. That being said, though, you guys are getting a D like New Hampshire, whatever. On to the glorious Midwest, starting with somewhere I have a little history with. You know, everyone's favorite state, Ohio. They got corn. They got... I'm struggling. Ohio's kind of interesting because on one hand, they got the most dilapidated urban wastelands. On the other hand, they have these crazy rural Amish communities that are like America's version of the Sentinel Island uncontacted tribes. Truly a state with great variety. One thing I truly didn't comprehend about Ohio was how many fucking people live there. Somehow, it's the 7th most populous state. That being said, it's the only one out of the top 30 most populated states that has a declining population. That means more people want to move to Alabama than Ohio, bro. And for that reason, we could see Ohio lose its top 10 status in the future, which isn't surprising seeing as it's apparently pretty common to find Ohio natives cosplaying as being from other cool parts of the US. Trust me, right? Go to the trendiest block in Brooklyn. Go to the most hipster coffee shop you can see. Go up to the guy with the suspiciously thick New York accent, the Yankee cap, and the hipster beard sitting at the window faking reading a book. Ask him which borough he grew up in. 1000% he's gonna stutter a bit, look up at you with shame in his eyes and quietly mutter, I'm actually from Upper Arlington in Columbus, man, but please don't tell anyone. All that hate aside, I'm probably gonna end up ranking Ohio above some of the other Midwest states purely because it has the population, it has the big cities, the manpower, and it has a half relevant importance in terms of my career. So, you know, I gotta represent. Indiana. I'm sure Indianans will get angry at me for saying this one, but I think the state is pretty similar to Ohio, just more flat and more rural. And instead of having 3 big cities, they have 1. If anything, I guess it looks a little more aesthetically pleasing than some of the other Rust Belt states, especially if you fuck with corn. Unless you go north, where there is a almost entirely abandoned ghost town called Gary.
God,
a place so
Gary, bro. I remember seeing this place before. This place is sad.
Inhospitable that they just barricade the highway exit.
Is Flint not here as well? I think Flint might be in Illinois. It's in this region.
That goes to Gary. Anything to keep humans out of that place. I think in an old video I actually promised I'd visit Gary, Indiana one day. So it might be on the cards soon. We'll see. Either way, it's not looking good for Indiana, bro. I'm sorry to do this, but right next to Gary, however, there exists one of the great American cities, Chicago, Illinois, home of the Bean, Kanye, deep dish pizza. What more could you want from a city? Well, quite a bit more, to be fair. Despite having 12 million people, this city has a completely inefficient, unreliable public transport network. Some of the worst neighborhoods in the Western Hemisphere. Fucking shitloads of pollution, all types, and in general, it's a pretty minging place. But that being said, the cultural relevance of Chicago can't be understated. The amount of music, art, etc. that's come out of here. I like how they make the river green on St. Patrick's Day, much to the amusement of actual Irish people. I like how they put cheese under the tomato sauce.
Where's the cheese?
It's under the sauce.
There's no cheese on it.
It's under the sauce.
Like, I'm Italian and this is hurting me.
It's from Chicago.
But it's just sauce.
The cheese is under the sauce.
That's not enough cheese.
Cheese is under the sauce.
It's not enough.
But that's Chicago we're talking about. What about the rest of Illinois? I know it's very frustrating for Illinois citizens how everyone thinks their state is only Chicago. So I came up with a map labeling the entire state. First off, we got Abraham Lincoln's house. Then we got amphetamine abuse. Then we got the bean. And then we got corn. That should lay it out more fairly. I'm thinking low D for you guys at best. Then we got Michigan. Famously best tap water in the country. Famously least potholes in the country.
I bought 3 tires just in 1 week. It's to the point I don't want to drive on the street.
Famously one of the most prosperous and upcoming economies in the country. Famously beautiful, sunny, mild winters. Famously one of the most reliable, forward-thinking public transport networks in the country. Famously cuisine mecca, one of the world's prime locations for fine dining. Oh my god, man, Michigan is a mess. Cities like Detroit, Flint, they've almost reached complete meme
I feel
status.
like Michigan will probably be ranked as one of the lowest by him for sure.
For just how bad they are.
What the fuck?
For example, right, Detroit was meant to get this big sign like Hollywood. This was the original plan they proposed, and yo, this is what they ended up building. British state can't even build a small scale infrastructure project without getting fucking roasted. It's crazy.
Now here we go, thinking we about to get some shit. Now they done order us a sign off fucking Wish. I thought our sign was gonna look like Hollywood. That's probably why they put this bitch right by the hood. While we was about to get some shit, they really just hold us. Then gave us a sign in times of Rome, and we just keeping it real, we ain't never hated. I think I seen a bigger sign at a graduation. Hey, man, we must have got these letters on a discount. We ain't blow too hard, fuck around and knock this shit down.
You know, some of those clear negatives aside, I gotta give it to these guys. They got some spirit, they got some soul, they got some good fucking energy, man. Plus, despite the state shrinking in population and influence recently, you gotta admit, bro, Michigan culturally is low-key more influential than all the other Midwest states combined. So many musicians, so many bands, athletes, inventors, they got everything, man. Bro, Germany straight up wouldn't have music if it wasn't for Detroit. You know that Berlin style techno music, right? That all Germans bump. Just guess who invented that shit. What the hell would depressed leather-wearing Germans do without Michigan, man? So I gotta give them a low C out of respect. Danny Brown is like my lifelong idol, bruh. They have to be above Illinois. Wisconsin, it sounds like it should be part of Canada. Wisconsin, you know what I mean? I also say that because back in the day there was this poor dude from Wisconsin who'd never left the Midwest before until his family moved to fucking Birmingham, UK. I felt so sorry for that poor guy, bro. He was sat next to me in a load of classes, and I swear the only thing I remember the guy fucking talking about was ice hockey, how I shouldn't use swear words, and hot dog eating contests. This guy put me on Joey Chestnut early, fam. In Milwaukee, I know they got that funny ass clap music, and that's the absolute extent of my Wisconsin knowledge. It's getting a low C for my OG, man. Shout out. Next up, Minnesota. Okay, I might sound a bit biased, right? But I think this is a state people are seriously sleeping on. It's got some of the best public services in the Midwest, maybe even in the US. Education, public transport, relatively low cost of living. People here are friendly as fuck. Yeah, they might have absolutely abysmal, unbearable, horrific winters, but they got you covered, okay? Minneapolis figured out the most American way to protect its citizens from harsh winters. You simply do not have to go outside. The cities in Minnesota are designed with indoor corridors going between buildings.
Really? No way. I'm fascinated by this. I want to check this out. This is, I mean, it makes sense because it does get so cold, but that is wild.
Above the streets. So effectively, assuming you have a garage, you can go about your entire day and not breathe fresh air once. It's a 4chan user's dream, bro. This is American innovation at its finest. Something about this skywalk system is so satisfying to my brain. I fully want to visit Minneapolis just to walk around endless corridors for the entire day. I feel like that would give me ultimate peace. I actually think this is kind of genius, right? Because it solves the mall problem that the rest of the Midwest has. The reason so many malls in Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana lay completely abandoned and decaying is because people have no reason to drive all the way to a physical non-food related shop and buy stuff anymore. And the idea of a mall is to rope customers of other shops into your shop through IRL marketing. A mall only works if people are walking through subconsciously browsing. Well, all these skywalks obviously have a lot of people walking through subconsciously browsing, and they put shops in them. It's perfect. And it means Minnesota skirts one of the big urban decay problems that every other Midwest state has. I actually think in a lot of ways Minnesota is kind of the best example of how a Midwest state can operate in 2024. But I have to admit,
that's so fascinating. I'd never heard anything to do with that. I'm definitely doing a reaction on like that, the Minnesota corridors or whatever you want to call it. It makes sense, it does the job, and it's a very fascinating way to get by with the extreme weather.
Yeah, I do have a little personal bias for this state, right? They got hella Swedes. Nah, not those. I'm talking about Swedish
Swedes.
restaurants, shops, cafes, inns, churches, a colossal IKEA, entire Swedish-speaking communities. I'm talking towns called Lindström. They got plaques commemorating the OGs. Their football team is called the Vikings. Oh my god, man. Plus, this state has a load of Somalis too, so I know they're gonna have my samosas on point. Man, this state has gotta be an A. It's gotta be an A. Right, Iowa. Man, I do not know. I was looking up like good things about Iowa, and consistently one of the main pros seems to be that the traffic is great. There's no congestion on the roads. Yeah, maybe because there's no fucking people there. How can you have a traffic jam if there's 2 people driving down the highway? They do not have a city with more than 208,000 people. Literally all Iowa do is corn and Slipknot. That's it. I'm not definitively making this cool. I'm open to Iowans changing my mind in the comments, but for now, I'm sorry, man. Missouri, on the other hand, is like Iowa, but actually with some notable cities. Well, just about. They kind of just about scraped having both these cities. Firstly, St. Louis. The burgers look fabulous. The pizza looks god awful, but seems like a half decent city, I guess. And then we have the city that these guys straight up stole. It's called Kansas City, but it's in Missouri by about 20 miles. Bro, make it make sense. Why the fuck did Missouri get Kansas City? Surely this is unfair, man. Oh, yeah. Alright. This state seems alright to me, but apparently a lot of people hate it. They got poverty, crime, decent bit of meth. Also, people like to state how it's a red state, a free Republican land. But they have these massive, insane jaywalking laws. Like, you have to pay if you...
I would be in trouble.
Get caught crossing a fucking road. Freedom my ass, bruh. Y'all ain't got no rights. That being said, it has to be Iowa, so we'll give it a low E. And Kansas seems to me like Missouri, but with less meth and more good old corn. Yeah, corn is becoming a big theme with these states, isn't it? I don't know too much about Kansas, but I've been informed from some inside sources, yeah? Lawrence is apparently the spot. I've heard it's a cheeky little unexploited gem, so I would like to visit one day before it gets Austinified. That being said, though, we're really getting into some Great Plains territory with Kansas. And
I feel like all the Midwest states should get ranked one lower than they would originally be just because of the tornadoes, man. I can't even lie. That's just, for me, a deal breaker.
Obviously, that comes with the dreaded twisters. Kansas is one of the worst states in terms of tornadoes and is currently under severe tornado risk as I speak. And bro, you're telling me I gotta risk my fucking life and my house being violently disintegrated into dust by the wind just to live somewhere that looks like this? You're fucking tripping, bro. The risk versus reward ain't adding up. You're telling me I gotta live in an endless AstroTurf field and my op is the air? I got a beef with the air? Nah, that's crazy, man. Kansas getting a low D just because I want to think it's nicer than Missouri. And I do think the world should get together and make Missouri give Kansas City to Kansas. Nebraska. Oh man, this is where my boy Saul got banished to, man. I can't represent Gene Takovic, bruh. Nebraska seems like one dull state. It's either corn or Omaha, and I can't say Omaha seems like the most fun city. This state is so boring, it actually houses some mammoths. Once again, people out here risking their lives just to live in Nebraska, which seems even more boring than Kansas. So yous are unfortunately going to be getting a high F. I'm sorry. I know.
A high F, damn.
Now on to the Dakotas, neither of which have a mill. So I'm gonna fly through them pretty quick because I highly doubt more than 10 people from either Dakota are ever gonna watch this. First off, you guys should just merge into one state, let's be real. I know there were some silly arguments back in the day, but come on man, this would make way more sense. North Dakota, they're literally just Canadians. They got Canadian accents. Winnipeg is their closest major city. They gotta deal with temperatures as low as fucking minus 50 degrees. North Dakotans are on average richer than South Dakotans, I guess. Yo, people are actually balling out here for some reason. 6th highest GDP in the country. I mean, it makes sense. You'd have to pay me a serious bag to live up in Fargo, bro. In North Dakota, they got the tallest structure in the USA, the only purpose of which is to make sure they have good TV signal.
What? Oh, this is making me cringe.
Allowing brain-rotting talk shows to be just as enjoyable in Grafton, North Dakota as they are in New York City. If someone put a gun up to my head and said, I hate to do this, Leo, but you're gonna have to move to one of the Dakotas for the rest of your life with no chance of escape, choose one now or perish, I would definitely go with North Dakota, for the reason that I was able to talk about North Dakota for about 20-30 seconds, right? I think with South Dakota, I got max 10 seconds. The one and only notable thing about this 77,000 square mile state is that they got Mount Rushmore. That's it. All my notes on South Dakota are done. They are getting a medium to low E. Sorry. Right, well, that's the first.
So this is his first list. So you got Florida and New York top. I mean, there's 4 in F. Nebraska, Rhode Island, Iowa, South Dakota. I bet people are fuming with this, man. I mean, I enjoy his videos. They're very, like, just silly videos, but I can't lie, they make me laugh. I'm very immature, so this is my sort of humour. Nothing like watching Geopold slander any state in existence. It's all just fun, man. After watching this video for 2 seconds, I accidentally caused a political crisis in the Middle East. What? Bro remembered his YouTube password. What the fuck? He did Maryland dirty. Now I'm from Upper Arlington and up my ass off. I guess if you're from these states, let me know how you feel about these rankings, because he's either coming for you or he's blessing you. I mean, it depends how you look at it. Florida could even be the top tier or the bottom tier. I'm putting it in the top tier just purely for the fact of the variety of stuff that happens there, you know. But I'll tell you what shocks me. Minnesota was very high, but that inner city thing, the indoor built walkways and stuff, or just walkways in that are basically it. Well, yeah, indoors. That's fascinating to me. I'm definitely going to check that out because I've never heard of it before. But I'm very hot. I'm sweating my balls off. So I'm going to end the video here. But hopefully you enjoyed. And until next time, like, subscribe, and peace.